Welcome to another match preview here on Stones TV and on the Maidstone United podcast, where we look ahead to our latest return league away game. It's our penultimate away main season match, and it's another Kent-ish derby against current Kent Senior Cup holders, Welling United. So before we look ahead to what we hope will be a good Friday for the Stones in more ways than one, we should look back at the Stones goalless draw at home to Weymouth. Nigel, already relegated sides nearly always seem to step up after it's confirmed, and seemed to be the case on Saturday.
I mean, we did warn against it, that, you know, they've got nothing to play for. It's going to be their sort of last big hurrah for at least the season. You know, going to come here in front of a big expectant crowd, and so it proved. I mean, we have struggled against teams this year, haven't we? That come in and play that sort of low block, 10 men behind the ball. I don't think it'll help by some of our play. I mean, I've never seen so many sort of crosses never beat their first man or were over here, and we just couldn't find that key to unlock the door. I mean, if we'd have got an early goal, I no doubt that we'd have gone on and scored 2 or 3 against, like we did against sort of like Enfield and Farnborough here, you know. But I say again, you sort of look at it, and I suppose in isolation, a point after getting beat the week before would be a good result. I know another clean sheet to our tally for this season, but yeah, it's like the business end of the season now, isn't it? So every point matters.
So Nigel mentioned that the results in isolation for the Stones is one way of looking at it. We can't isolate them. We've got to look at the rest of the top 8 from Saturday and after. More on that in a sec. Boreham Wood hosted Hemel, and a Sousa double sandwich with a Matt Rush filling meant a comfortable 3-0 win for the Wood against one-time league leaders Hemel Hempstead. More on that later as well. Torquay hosted Slough, and after a Hollis red card for the visitors, Cook and May either side of half-time sealed a 2-0 win for the Gulls. Eastbourne Borough travelled to relegation and threatened St Albans, and Woolard Innocent stole the 3 points. Now I purely say steal, as his name is Innocent. No letters, please. 3 points for the Borough. Dorking travelled to Bath, and despite the visitors going behind early on, Dorking had the lead on the hour, through until the 101st minute, when Jordan Tilson equalised for Bath. There was a red card that they received for a contentious throw-in decision, I think we'll say it was, long before that equaliser, seemingly the cause of the stoppage time in that game. Much less late drama as Worthing hosted Chippenham, where Farl and Babalola both doubled at the double, despite Matt McClure penalty levelling up in the first half. Hornchurch hosted their latest top 8 opponent this close season in the form of top-of-the-table Truro. And ex-Stone Tom Raitt did give the home side a half-time lead, but a caveat second-half hat-trick kept the Tinners on top. So finally, to Weston-super-Mare. They hosted Tunbridge Angels twice in the last few days. On Saturday, a spectator suffered a medical emergency, and the game was stopped with less than 10 minutes to go, with the Angels leading 1-0. Everyone at Maidstone United wishes her a continuing swift recovery, of course. And then on Sunday, the match was confirmed to be replayed in full on Tuesday evening. On Tuesday itself, the Angels were only able to take 14 players due to the short notice. An early Sam Pearson goal, followed by a second-half strike from Ruben Reid, rounded off with a late Waite goal, which gave Weston a 3-0 win. And that meant the table headed into this Easter weekend looks like this. So the Stones slipped to 8th on 74 points. Weston-super-Mare go up 1 spot to 7th on 75 points. Boreham Wood stay in 6th on 77 points. Dorking drop 2 further places down to 5th with their second consecutive draw. They are on 79 points. Torquay move up a spot into 4th and are now on 80 points. Eastbourne Borough also move up 1 place into 3rd. They're now on 81 points. Worthing remain in 2nd on 83 points, so that means Truro remain top on goal difference, also on 83 points, clear of the Rebels by 13 goals for that goal difference. So Nigel, hashtag never dull in South, hashtag more twists and turns to come than a twisty-turny thing.
If we are to get that playoff place, whether that be 7th or 6th, we never make it easy for ourselves, do we?
No.
You can go through the history of the Stones, and I know we all say you shouldn't rely on other teams failing to confirm your place, but there's no hiding away from the fact that Western have got those two, Eastbourne and Truro fixtures to round off with, and there's plenty more other teams that Dorking have got a difficult weekend. They've got to play Worthing. Worthing have got Eastbourne on top of that as well. So there's certainly going to be teams that are taking points off of each other, and I mean, I've seen on social media this week a lot of fans are sort of looking to blame people, and as if the season's over. But there's been sort of conspiracy theories going around about this Western game being replayed, and obviously it was always going to be replayed because you can never. I know there was only 10 minutes to go, but then you look at the Dorking game with Bath getting that equaliser in 90 plus 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're never going to start the game with Tunbridge having a goal lead or whatever, and the rules are the league are always going to go to the league rules, and if you look at the league rules, they are ambiguous because it's always kind of they're always sort of looking at every scenario, and we've said it as well on our group chats, and and people have been saying it on the forum, but the Slough game last year against Bath and the Worthing and Yeovil game, but there was nothing on those games, is there?
Yeah.
There was nothing. They left it so late, but it's because it's happened so late in the season. You've got to give Western that chance. I mean, it's no fault of anybody. It's just very frustrating, isn't it? But you can't hinge your season on that going against you because there's a 46 game season. So the time for sort of the blame game and looking back over the season comes after 46 games. If we don't make the playoffs, then obviously as a fan base we will look back on it and analyse where it's gone wrong. But at the moment, it's all to play for, isn't it? So you just got to remain positive and think where we're going to get the points from. And if we'd have looked at it, we've said before about the team that comes into that playoff line and gets a late run into it picks up the momentum. And if you wanted to look at the last three fixtures to pick up momentum, you could probably handpick the three fixtures that we've got.
Hopefully, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's none of the teams, Welling have got something to play for, but that's probably going to be in our favour because, as we've mentioned before, we're not good at breaking teams down that just come and sit behind the ball. So they've got to go out, they've got to score a goal. They're not a draw's no good to them either because if they don't get the win, if they don't get 3 points, so they've got to score a goal. So hopefully, that could work in our favour. And then Tunbridge as well, and then I know the fans have got this little beef with us, but are the players going to be up for it? Do you know what I mean? Are the players going to really bust a gut to they've all got their future. They're not going to, but half of them are, the new manager's not even in situ yet, so they're not as if they're playing for the new manager. They've probably got their deals lined up. So again, it's it's all hypothetical, and as we've said all before, we've just got to take care of ourselves, haven't we? You can look at these games, but we know we've got 3 cup finals now to come, and we know what we are. We know that George can get the best out of players. So it's down to the management team to fire the players up, and it's down to there's a hero there. Somebody's going to be the hero. If we make the playoff, there's going to be a hero. Who's going to be the next Didi? Who's going to be the next Joel Powell? There's somebody there that's going to be. It might be one of our lowlies. It might be Aaron Blair pops up with a hat trick but it's there. It's all there. It's all been building up to these 3 games. So just go for it. Do you know what I mean?
We're still in with a chance.
Of course we are. We're with a big chance, a big, massive chance.
I will say, looking at Western's form, they are the side that are on top of the form table and have been for quite some time. We're a bit off of the pace. I mean, ironically, I think we're in 8th, and as we are in the table, the form and the league. But it's knowing when are Western going to drop points? Are they going to win those last 3? If they are, fair play to them. You've still got Boreham Wood you can catch up with as
well. Fair play. You look, games are not played on paper. You can look at it, and this. Although they've played the game on Tuesday, don't forget they're playing again on Friday away at Chippenham, and that's as Fred said in our commentary this season. That's your Stoke on a Tuesday night, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Chippenham's a notoriously hard place to go. It's going to be a rock hard pitch. It's got that slope on it as well. I mean, not many teams go there and win games. I know it's a must-win sort of game for them. Yeah. but how much are they going to take out of them? You know, they're not a full-time side, are they? So,
Well, I'll reveal something I put in one of our group chats. I did say that it wouldn't surprise me personally if they ended up losing to Chippenham, but then go and beat Truro and Eastbourne.
exactly. But
That's the way football is.
Exactly, that's the way it is, and you know, it's just, you know, we just got to keep the faith, and as George always says, just believe and just look after our own thing, and hopefully there's more twists and turns to come.
There will be.
In our favour.
Believe, let's hope so. So in case you were still holding out hope of a league title coming to the Gallagher at the end of the season, I have to inform you that the Stones can no longer mathematically win the league owing to the upcoming Good Friday fixture between Worthing and Eastbourne. All three results produce a side with 84 points or more, so we cannot overtake either of those sides. In terms of league leaders, we wanted to take a quick look at how last and this season have panned out. So the 23-24 season, there were 6 different leaders. Truro and Taunton were leaders one occasion each. Worthing, Aveley and Bath were leaders twice each. And then that juggernaut of Yeovil stayed top from match day 11 onwards. As of Saturday, just gone, with 2 weeks to go of the 24-25 season. So far, we've had 11 different leaders already. Hornchurch, Slough, Eastbourne have had 7 days each so far. The so far, of course, applying solely to Eastbourne as they're still in the hunt. Boreham Wood have managed to go top on 4 separate occasions so far for a total of only 12 days. As you do.
Mm-hmm.
Farnborough were top twice for 18 days total. Weston were top twice for a total of 24. Truro have been top twice and are at 25 days with 14 days left to play out. Worthing top twice for a total of 32 days. Dorking also twice for 34 days total. Torquay had one period over Christmas for a total of 38 days, meaning that Hemel Hempstead Town were top twice at the start of the season for a total of 41 days. So Nigel, I've said it before this season, and will again now, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and that's, you know, that's the point we were just making there, isn't it? You know, you can look at these tables now, and you can say that Western are going into it the form side in the league, but it only takes one bad result, or you know, let's not forget, you know, we've said it about their game, but they were like literally less than 10 minutes away from getting a defeat against Tunbridge.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that would have been completely role reversal. And you know, if we'd have got a goal, we'd have. It's just so tight. You know what I mean? It is just so tight, and you know, and as you've proved there, you know, there's been so many times in the season that you think, right, okay, Worthing's gone top now. They're going to run with it, and then they go and throw in some right dodgy results and lose to teams that you know, Hornchurch are away on a Tuesday night. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, and there's going to be teams that, you know, you look at the Boreham Wood fixtures, you know, they've got to go to Slough. You know, again, that's not an easy game. Torquay on the last day of the season are playing away at Hemel Hempstead, and they generally struggle on 3G pitches, and you know, they can't get to grips with them as they proved here. So, you know, again, you can look through the predictions and you can think, you know, they're going to win that. That's a free. And there's no bankers. There is literally no bankers in this league.
Yep.
You know, everyone's got something to play for, and everybody's got reputation. You got players that, you know, the clubs that you think, right, okay, they're safe, but they're playing for contracts, whether that be the club that they're playing for, or at another club that they want to kick on and go higher in the league or into the National League. So everyone's going to be sort of like going for something. So, you know. I say it's just pointless. It's just like, you know, you can look at it and get yourself into a twist about it, really, because there's just no guarantee. So, I say it's just, we've got to take care of our business. You know, there's going to be a hero there. There's going to be someone that, you know, it's just let's really, you know, this is our season now. Just go with it, run with it, and see where it takes us.
You say there's no bankers in this league. There are a few, but that's another story for another day. So to the comings and goings at Parkview Road. Since the turn of the year, midfielder Sahid Kamara joined on loan from Birmingham City on a 4-week loan in January. Goalkeeper Dylan Berry joined the wings as cover for Reece Lovett, who picked up an injury in the New Year's Day defeat at Maidstone United. Alex Lancashire returned to parent club Blackpool following the expiration of his loan deal. Left-sided defender Charles Ondo, after spells with Ebbsfleet United and Hemel Hempstead earlier this season. Kwaku Donkor returned to his parent club Blackpool following the expiration of his loan deal. Former Stone James Alabi joined the Wings after recent spells with both Bath and Eastbourne. They then followed a pair of loan signings, central defender Daniel Quick and winger Jaden Davis, both from Eastbourne Borough, until the end of the season. Mostly, more on that in a sec. Aussie midfielder Finn Ballard McBride joined the Wings following his release from Eastbourne. Midfielder Garrett Kelly was welcomed back for a second spell at Parkview Road. He made 8 appearances earlier this season before briefly joining Tunbridge Angels in December. Experienced striker Scott Cashket is another who rejoined for a second spell with the club following a loan stay from Leyton Orient as a youngster in 2016. Another forward, Dion Moore, then joined Welling. He played 12 times for his country, Guyana, so Reece knows him well. Scored 5 goals as well in international duty. Midfielder Elliot Long joined Billericay Town on a permanent transfer. Several non-playing staff transfers then occurred in a brief period. Assistant manager Kevin Watson departed. Colin Reid was then appointed as first team coach. Rod Stringer then resigned from his position as first team manager after 14 months in the role. Brian Statham, who had been assisting with first team matters in recent weeks, took up a position as caretaker manager until the end of the season. Young forward Tyrese Briscoe became the first signing of the post-Stringer era. Midfielder Jez Davies then came in on loan from Salford City, having previously been at National League Northside Marine and Ebbsfleet United this season. And finally, Dan Quick has been recalled by Eastbourne this week. So, Nigel, I think we can say from our own experience of being down the bottom in past years, it's a bit like deck chairs on the Titanic sometimes with the transfer activity, lots of movement, but not really changing the direction of the ship.
No, exactly. It's one of those, isn't it, where you look at the players, Cashkit has always been a player that's impressed me. Nondo, they come with a good reputation, but whether they've just got the personality that's just not going to be strong enough to, like you say, change the direction of the ship. And they've kind of they're the ones that have, I remember looking around the turn of the year, and Enfield were in those relegation places and Welling were 9-10 points clear of them, but they've kind of sleepwalked into it, haven't they? And they've been the ones that are falling into it. Salisbury have just managed to keep themselves above that safety line, and they're the ones that going into the fixture on Good Friday, a win, as I said before, they've got to win. Even a draw is going to be probably no good for them, because what are they, 7 points away from safety at the moment with only 9 available. So
awful.
So they do need to win, which again could work in our favour.
You'd hope, yeah.
Because they've got to come out. I know we've not really had the best of records at Parkview Road, but
No.
I say, and I've said it, I sound like a broken record. We've just got to take care of ourselves, haven't we?
Yeah. So the key men for the Wings, goalkeeper Reece Lovett has played in 34 league games so far this season. He's produced 8 clean sheets in that time. Defender Dave Winfield has played the most matches in the back line this season, and he's got 2 goals to his name, one in an away win at Weston and one in a draw at Chippenham. Gene Kennedy has played almost every league game this season in the midfield, and he's their current top scorer with 8 in the league so far. He scored both in the recent 2-0 win against Worthing. He turns 22 on Good Friday, but hasn't featured in April for the Wings due to his red card at the end of March at Chesham. And Kiwi forward Josh Redfern has 5 so far this season. His most recent strike was the opener in a 2-1 defeat at Farnborough. So Nigel, a few players there that they might want to keep hold of potentially for next season.
Yeah, and likewise, there might be a few players there that are playing for a contract to stay in this league next season with a team that will be challenging at the other end of the table. So again, it's something that we've got to be wary of. And like you've said there, recently they recently beat Worthing, so they've got form of sort of upsetting the apple cart. But I think and we mentioned it in our review of the Weymouth game. It's just that we're running out of the games now, so they've had a chance to get over that goal and get back on the horse, kind of thing. Really, whereas it's important that we do it now. Yeah, and I think it's going to be. I mean, there was a period, wasn't there, when we were on comms, round about the turn of the year when Welling would always go into they'd always start the game where they get their customary open goal in the first 10 minutes, and but then teams would come steaming back and then get put 3 or 4 past them. So
that might be something that goes in Welling's favour, though, thinking about that, because I know every time Maidstone have gone behind this season, we've still not won a match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's that's a crumb of comfort for Welling, and it's how we react to that. But going away from home on a pitch that we generally don't do well against, and a ground that we don't generally do well. But I think we'll have a good backing now. I'm sure. There's still sort of like the likes of George Fowler and Sam Corn. There's still that memory of going there on Bank Holiday Monday after we'd won the league, and
hazy memories are. Hazy
yeah. I think there's a few had been on the Sherberts that weekend, so there was mitigating circumstances there. But the way they celebrated on that game, I think would have gone. They remember that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looking back on the highlights and that. So I know personnel have changed and all that kind of thing, and it's a different squad now than what it was then. But it's something to sort of like strive for and try and put our own memories in place, and hopefully, as we say, it can be the sort of the kickstart that we need to sort of give us this little mini run that's going to propel us into the playoffs.
Fingers crossed. So the form since last we met, the Wings have played 19 league matches since the New Year's Day defeat here. 10 away games, 1 win at Weston, 1 draw. And why is it everybody we keep going on about managing to beat Weston away, but we can't? Anyway, 10 away games, 1 win at Weston, 1 draw, 8 defeats, 9 home matches with 2 home wins against Weymouth and the aforementioned Worthing. 3 draws, 4 defeats. It's been a gradual decline down the table this season for Welling, only reaching the bottom 4 on match day 37. And they have stayed there ever since. They go into this game lower than a snake's belly after they took a 5-0 spanking from a bang out of form side who was seemingly boosted by the prospect of new owners for next season. And somewhat ironically, the Wings had previously announced new investors of their own to clearly little immediate effect. The Beavers will be in South next season after that big win. Highly unlikely to be the case for the Wings, as they only stayed up last Saturday by virtue of Salisbury's loss at Aveley. Welling hosts Salisbury on the last day of the season, and they want to be able to take it to that game, don't they, Nigel?
Have got it in their own hands, haven't they? So they could potentially win on Saturday and Friday, and Salisbury could win, and then it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah.
Because it could be in vain. It's not guaranteed they're going to win. They're going to take it any further. So they are relying a little bit on other teams sort of dropping off on form. So it's going to be an interesting game, but hopefully we can stamp our authority on it and make it an easy afternoon. But let you see, shall we?
We shall see. Can't remember all of the players from the previous meetings, then why not head back to our previous preview video and podcast from this season for more information on Friday's opponents. The links to the video and podcast are both in the description below. And if you can't make it to the game, be sure to tune in to myself and Connor on Stones Live. We'll be on air from 2:40. You'll see us on the hot take and then hear us on the highlights once they go online. And please remember that if you can't make it to the game, that you cannot purchase a ticket on the day. This is an all-ticket fixture, so please purchase online before Good Friday itself. And finally, wherever and however you're going to follow that match on Friday, please make sure you vote for your player of the season, as the vote closes on Good Friday around about noonish, we believe. There were just 5 votes between the top 3 earlier this week, so your vote really will count again this season. How to vote and the list of players are available on the club website now. So with one side actively seeking a departure from the division and another trying to avoid that fate in the other direction, add in the fact it's a local derby of sorts, sure to be a great start to the Easter weekend of football. And here's hoping the Stones aren't cross about it 3 days later. Welling hoping to roll the Stones away themselves and resurrect their survival chances. Jesus, indeed. Our thanks, as always, to you for watching or listening to the latest preview. Like and subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Just search for the Maidstone United podcast. See or hear you for our next preview ahead of the visit of another local side, a now Jay Saundersless Tunbridge Angels. And as always,
Come on, you Stones!